Aloha and welcome. Aloha. I am so excited to have you here for this intuition workshop. I'm going to just shimmy for a minute or two. Just wait about and sip some tea and see who's going to drop in. In saying that, I won't take long. So if you're watching the recording, maybe I've got an eye on the time, another 90 seconds, a minute and a bit, and I will begin. So if you're watching the recording, you've got enough time perhaps to get a cup of tea. You can push pause or fast forward me a bit if you need to. Nearly there. Yeah, we're going to get started. Okay. Kia ora and welcome to your intuition webinar. This space is all about really just the ideas and the information as much as I can give you in support of your intuition. So learning more about what that means and learning more about how to tune into it and giving you some perspectives that you maybe haven't considered before, and also suggesting some practices that could be really helpful because our intuition is powerful and we all have it. It is not absent. It is whether we are able to listen or not. And the thing with that is that let me start with this. One of the reasons why I chose this intuition, and it's the same with all the webinars to come. The webinars that I'm offering for free here are in alignment with the season that we're in. And when I say season, I mean the astrological season. So the sun sign that we are in is also an opportunity for us to work within that energy. And so we've just stepped into, literally just yesterday, timed this for this reason, we've stepped into the season of Pisces, and we've stepped into this energy, this And it's really about finding this beautiful centered space within you, because when we have courage and the more we practice, third step, listening to our intuition and following through. And I recommend starting with small things. It might be if you hear your intuition saying you need more water, your practice is listening to that. Okay, I need more water. You hear your intuition is like, I might need to rest now. Your practice is actually hearing that. So you don't have to start with the big things of like, I need to change my job. Your intuition's telling you that, and your gut's like, come on now. And you're not quite ready. That's okay. But my recommendation for you is to practice with the small things. If you have an intuition of like, this conversation is not going to serve you, listen to that intuition and in a kind and loving way, exit that conversation. Now, if you're like, how do I do that? Sometimes, if you're not sure how it's going to be received, then I recommend a little white lie. Oh, I'm really sorry, I've got to go. Oh, shoot, I totally forgot I need to make a call. Now, that's not lying. That's taking care of yourself. That was a side note. But anywho, the process of learning to courageously follow through with your intuition is to start small. And again, that intuition might be, I need to go to bed early tonight. Do that. Give it a go. You wake up in the morning, oh, thank you, intuition. I so needed that. And there will be some barriers, and that's where we go to in this next slide, understanding our barriers. So the mental barriers. And this is kind of what I was alluding to, is that second line, is that why don't we listen? So sometimes, and this is what I do a lot with my clients, it might be understanding why I know what to do, but I don't do what I know. Why don't I listen to my intuition? What is holding me back mentally? And again, it might be about comfort zone. It might be about not trusting our capacity. It might be because we don't feel courageous, and that's okay. Or what do you believe that isn't true? So you might have an intuition about like, I really want to do this new job. And then there's the beliefs that come through of like, you're not good enough. Someone else might be better. What if you cut all these things that come through? Those are your mental barriers. And that's why I say, what do you believe that isn't true? Because these doubts and fears, they're not true. They're illusions. They're not real. And they can be worked against. They can be conquered, is a great word. They can be conquered. These beliefs that aren't true, because you don't have any proof, they can be conquered and they can be changed. And if you're really struggling with that, there are some really beautiful NLP tools that we can use, a one-time thing that can really reprogram that. Now, the physical barriers is really looking at when you hear your intuition, and perhaps there's like that resistance or that like, I don't know. Looking at, we have a tendency as humans to focus on what we can't control. So firstly, it's just having a little convo with yourself about what can't I control? All right, well, again, out of my control. I have to work with what is, and then looking at what can I control, what can I influence, what choices can I make, and working on those. So it's really helpful to understand our barriers. And again, if you've got certain situations about your intuition that are coming into your mind or have done through this call, it can be helpful to relate that to these ideas and these options. And next, flying through tools. Like I mentioned before, writing is really powerful in whatever way and whatever form. A lot of the journals I have, I never read again, but it's getting it out that is really highly of service to me. The middle one is about sitting in nature or being somewhere that inspires you. It might be an art gallery. It might be a music gig. It might be some kind of personal development or modality that you're learning. Anything, just be, and that's why I like that middle image. It's like being inspired can really help you to understand your intuition and to feel the changes in your body, that excitement or that curiosity or those beautiful new ideas that pop in. We're really working on that creating space within you. That last one, that coffee mug, it's kind of like that process that I was showing you before. We just got to begin. We've got to just dig in, give it a crack, and be open to what could come through. And I highly recommend that. And for some of you, if you have any questions on this or you want specific tools, we can work on that. And if you've booked this call, you know how to get hold of me on socials or through email. And I would really love to be of service. Keys, the keys to intuition. Well, keys to a lot of things. 1, gratitude. Being grateful when you hear your intuition. Being grateful, like, thank you for that information. Being grateful that you were able to listen. Being grateful that you are listening to self. 2, trust. What happens when we doubt and fear is we forget to trust ourselves. What happens when we don't listen to our intuition is we're not trusting that the information came through for a reason. And then celebration, celebrating yourself. And this can be a 10-second moment within you, or it could be in your journal, celebrating. I listened to my intuition today. This is what I did. I'm celebrating that. The more we celebrate the moves we make, the more moves we make. Contemplate that for a second. The more gratitude we have, the more we receive in our life. The more we trust in ourselves, the more we lean in. The more we celebrate the moves we make, the more moves we make. I hope that works for you. I love it. I love it. More keys, supporting yourself. Really, really looking at the ways that bring you courage. So when we're talking about, I'm not feeling courageous in this area, is there another area that might bring you courage? It might be joining a new class. It might be learning a new dance. It might be having a conflict conversation. What are the ways that can empower you? I love that middle one. Always room to grow. I actually took that photo myself. That was in a beautiful building in Margaret River in Australia. And it really inspired me. There is always room to grow. The other thing that image reminds me is that we don't make mistakes. There are no failures. There is always room to grow. And I'm not so much a fan of everything happens for a reason, but I am a fan, and again, it's always room to grow. What is happening is here to teach me something. And what can I learn? And again, just another reminder, grateful. Grateful is an energy that will keep moving us forward and keep us expanding. And it is just so supportive and powerful. So in conclusion, I'm going to wrap up because I've done a lot of talking. And because I'm recording this and everyone has either dipped out, and that's totally fine. That's what it's for. I don't have so much questions. I was going to do some polls if people were online, and that's absolutely okay. So we're going to wind up. So deep listening is a practice. It takes practice. When we're in contemplation with ourselves, when we do some journaling, we can understand our values and our purpose. And I will speak to this more in other webinars. Conclusion, creating space and finding your authentic way to do that, because we're all different, whether it is painting, drawing, writing, conversation, being outside, being inside. Whatever way helps you to really tune into yourself is going to help this process. Going back to understanding and just being present to our boundaries, to our barriers, just taking your time to look at them, be okay with them, being without judgment, just observing them for what they are. And then gratitude, trust, and celebration. My favorite phrase of all, you got this. And that's what I say to me, you got this, you got this. And I know that's not correct English, but that's what I say. You got this. And I say it to myself, you got this, you've got this. You have got this. And I'm so grateful that we're here and sharing this information. This was where I was going to have Q&A, but that is okay. And here, I want to say thank you. Thank you for joining me on this webinar. This is only my second ever webinar, and we're using a whole new platform. So I'm learning along the way. And I am really, really honored that you booked in, honored that you take the time, if you've got to this point, that you've taken the time to listen and to learn. I'm also really open to feedback of all kinds. I always want to learn and grow and work with you guys rather than just working with what I think you need. I love to learn what you need. And that is really powerful for me. So I am so eternally grateful for any time anyone steps into my space and works here. Anytime anyone wants to learn and grow how to become a better human and how to live with more authentic happiness. And I'm always just so grateful for that. And I'm going to jump out. And thank you for being here with me. Like I mentioned, the more time you spend with some of these practices, the better. And there haven't been any specific practices, so I haven't shared any breath today or any journaling or anything like that. But that is, like I was talking about right at the beginning, we're in the sun sign of Pisces, right? So the next 2 community coaching calls, and I offer 2 community coaching calls every month. They're $22 each. And they're an hour of actual practices. And they will follow on. So this webinar has been about intuition. Now, the full moon and the new moon, so the align, which is next, the align call and the release call will be in this theme of developing intuition and learning to listen and contemplate. And the coaching calls will have specific practices with this in mind. So that is the theme for the month. That is my mission in service of you. So if some of these things that have sparked, this information has sparked you, and you're like, yeah, but how do I do it? Those calls I highly recommend. So the next one is the align call, and it's about you really setting goals and creating vision in this area of intuition and other areas of your life. It is a way, and there is always time for contemplation. So no matter what call you join, it is a way for you to practice learning to listen to self, deep listening. It's a way for you to practice writing or other forms of communicating and getting to know self. And then the release call every 2 weeks, so new moon, full moon. The release call again will be about those barriers. It'll be about looking at those barriers and how we overcome them specifically. And a regular release practice, so monthly, when the moon is full, is a really powerful way to do that. And I talk about this clearing out the cupboards. We've all got a cupboard of clutter, and that is limits. It can be habitual ways of thinking. It can be emotions we're holding on to that are really getting in our way. It can be stagnance within our field. The release practices, the release community coaching calls are in service of doing that and learning how to create these practices that become so natural, like brushing our teeth and getting dressed, that we do them when we need them rather than on regimen. So those calls are in service for you. And I would love to see you on any of them. And again, if you have any questions about any of this work, all the calls that come up, all the private calls the one-on-one coaching calls that I do with people, I am always here. You can message me on socials. You can reply to these emails. There's so many ways to get in touch. You can call me, message me. I'm right here. And I am never too busy. Yes, it might take me a minute to get back to you, but when I reply, I'm fully present. And the conversation can just flow. And I really am here to support you. There are also ways to book a free call with me if you really just want to chat out about how my services work. And you'll probably see that in some following emails. But again, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being open to dialing into your intuition. When we live in an authentic way of hearing, trusting, and celebrating our intuition, we live in a better world, and that ripples out for all of us. So from me and here in Queenstown, that's my background. Thank you. And ciao for now.